my screen here. Looks like they changed this Google Meets quite a bit here. It's definitely looking different. Alright, there's my Google Meets. And I'm recording this as well, so I'll put it on YouTube after. Hopefully you can see my code blocks. Let's go over what we talked about last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess. And that was we're making a Brick Breaker game, right? And we're going to use Box2D for all the collision physics stuff, and then SFML to do the graphics. Someone's fixing up my kitchen upstairs, so it's going to be loud. A lot of banging and stuff. Okay, so we made our own files which contain all the code regarding a ball, a brick, and a paddle. And we made our own structures so that they're got like variables, right? Except they can take on the abilities of other structures, which we did here. We took on all the abilities for our ball of circle shape through SFML. Not only that, but we made it have its own B2 body variable. And this is the variable that allows us to talk to Box2D and add any physics we want to the body of our ball. Okay, and then we just kind of borrowed some code from the physics.h, but doctored it up a little bit so that it would work well with our, here's some check collision stuff, update position, so that it would work well within our, the objects that we're making. Okay. Yeah, so that was, the brick was probably the easiest one. It was essentially just a rectangle shape with an update positioning command, and the paddle was a little bit more complicated because, well, not really, it just had some keyboard commands in there. And when we ran this bad boy, so far we had a paddle that bounces the ball at an angle, which was good. We got a bunch of bricks in there. We even last Friday added a vector of bricks, right? It's all looking okay now. There's a few glitches if the ball gets too sideways or whatever. I'm not looking for you to solve those issues if you don't think you can. If we were in class, we would definitely find some ways to fix that. That's an issue for another time. Okay, I'm happy with the progress we have so far. This week we're just going to continue maybe adding some features, wrapping up the course essentially, right? This is really our last full week together. Let's look at the calendar. All that bounces around. So this week we have these 5 days, and then I think we come back for 2 more little days there. Maybe it's just 1, I'm not really sure how it works, but I'm sure someone will tell me through email or something. And then, you know who will ask? Miss Harrington, she'll know. And then, okay, so let's try to add maybe 1 feature to our Brick Breaker today. I talked about maybe making the paddle bigger, so let's see if we can add a little function to our paddle code to do that. And today I'm going to post the video of the assignment 2 projects that people made in the past, so you can have a look at those and give yourself some inspiration. Maybe if you haven't handed in assignment 2, or you don't know if you need to add more, or you feel like it might be lacking, then you can have a look at that video, okay? But keep in mind, I'm not looking for projects as good as I would look for them if we were in class every day as well. So don't put a ton of pressure on yourself for this course, that's for sure. It's just meant to be a fun time, okay? No stress. So let's go to our paddle code, and we'll make another function that will update the size of the thing. And this type of function will be void. It's not returning anything. And we'll call it update size, I guess. Size. And does it need to take in any information? I don't think it really does. Actually, it should take in a width, right? Float width. We will need to pass it how wide we want to make the paddle. And then we can update the size. So I was talking about this last 2 weeks ago or whatever, but the best way to update the size of something in Box2D is to actually delete it from your physics world and then redraw it. And the reason you want to do that is so that you're not, when you resize something, you're kind of teleporting this box back into your world, and it could kind of grow into something that's beside it and create some physics issues. So I have found that the best way to resize anything is actually just delete it from your physics world for 1 frame and then place it back. It should that should be a good way to do it. So the first thing we'll want to do is delete the paddle's body, take it out of the world. And the way you do that in physics.h, see that, is you delete the block. All right, where's delete block? Right here. World.destroy body. You don't need to worry about the set user data thing. So world.destroy body. Okay, I guess since I don't have a world, I'm going to have to pass it a world as well. B2 world, and then I'll call it world like that. Okay. And so now that I have a world, my function knows about the world. I'll have to put an ampersand sign in front of here as well, because I'm going to need the world to be able to change. I want my function to be able to change my world, much like I did here with when I put an ampersand sign. If I don't put an ampersand sign, it won't allow me to change it. So, also, it's an efficiency thing too, right? Because the world is a big object, and the memory address is a small object. World. Okay, world.delete. Did I spell world wrong? World.destroy body. Yeah, there we go. And then I just give it the name of my body, which is body in this case. I'm just going to run that and see if it complains at me. It shouldn't. That still runs fine. Let's, just for the sake of the sake, let's put a little keyboard command in here that will allow us to call that command. So in my main, anywhere really is fine. I'm just going to say if keyboard, oops, : is key pressed, keyboard. I'm going to use the spacebar command. Spacebar button, keyboard, : space. Then I want to update the size. So I'm going to go p1 dot update size. Cool. And it's looking for a width, which I haven't really added yet. Maybe I'll just make it like 400, make this paddle really wide. And then it's looking for the world. Okay, so once I do that, if I press space, hopefully it deletes. Will it delete the thing? Yeah, it does. See that? Crashes. Okay, here we go. I press space bar, paddle's gone. It actually moved up here somewhere. Yeah, that's weird. And then crashes. And that crashes fine. We'll figure out how to fix that later. The reason why it's crashing is probably something to do with the fact that the update position pin. Yeah, you can show up anytime during the day and you'll be in the attendance. Okay. The reason why the thing is crashing is because every time I go to update position, it's trying to set a linear velocity to the body and stuff to the keyboard, and also using body every frame. But if I've destroyed the body from the world, then it doesn't know what to do. So I got to put it right back before I do anything else. So I'm going to put the body back once I delete it, but I'm just going to make it bigger. So the way to put the body back into the world is to just copy all this code. This is the code when you first make the paddle that puts the body into the world and sets all of its features and stuff. So we'll copy all that. Okay. Do we need to know the height of the thing? Let's figure out what we're going to need to do all of this. Okay. So we're going to copy all this code. We're going to paste it all in there. There's a lot of code there. This dot set size, this dot set origin, this dot set position, and this dot set. Those should all be fine. The problem is we don't have, we have width because it's going to change the width. We want the old height that it had, and we want the old X and Y position that it had. So before we actually destroy the body, we should make some variables in here that will get that information that we need. So we need an X and a Y, because if I run it now, it'll say you don't have an X, a Y, or a height. Okay. X was not declared, Y was not declared, height was not declared. Okay, so we'll try to capture them from the old box, from the old shape. So now it will run. Who knows what it will do though? Let's see. Does it run? Deletes it, no problem. Doesn't crash. Good. It just put it back somewhere in some random place because X and Y and height don't have any numbers right now. So let's give them some numbers. X should equal this, which is, remember, this is just a variable that is taking the name of what you called paddle, because I call paddle P1. So this is actually just stands for P1 in this case. But you don't know what the person's going to call their paddle, so you have to write the word this to say, do it to the paddle that I'm currently working with. So get position dot X. Good. Y will be the same. Just getting the SFML positions because I use the SFML positions to draw it in the first place. Right, when you say X and Y, you're doing pixels on the screen in here, so I want to keep that going. Y and height could be equal to this dot height. Is there a get size command? Yep, dot Y. Cool. Okay, so I think that should delete. Okay, so I got all the information about my old paddle. deleted my body, and then just reinserted the paddle back in, all within one frame. And I just copied all the code that put the paddle into the physics world. So let's have a look here and see if it makes my paddle 400 wide when I press the spacebar. Ooh, whoa! Shut off the screen. I think I know why. And we'll talk about why, and actually this is a good point to bring up here. There it goes. The problem is, it is 400 pixels wide, which is fine, and it actually bounces nicely too, off the edges and stuff, just like it always did. I think I remember mentioning something about that bouncing code. Where's my ball code where I check a collision between a paddle? Yeah. I ended up kind of putting good numbers in here so that even if my paddle changed sizes, it would still bounce properly. Well, let's go back to that paddle code where I'm updating size. So this is working fine. The only problem is, and this is a problem you run into a lot in SFML, when you hit this button here, let's see how many times just a little tap. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this code in here with brackets, but I'm just gonna see out something to myself like the word hello. Okay. And the issue is when I hit the space key, it'll actually record like, I don't know, 20 presses or something. See that? I just tapped it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So just by tapping the space key, it saw that it had been pressed for 11 frames in my game. And it tried to update my paddle size 11 times. And it did update its size 11 times, but also kind of stretched it, moved it, because each time I resize it, I'm resizing it. I'm taking the middle location and resizing it from the left, or something kind of buggy is happening there. But I actually want this to be, I want to just change it so that I recognize when the space key is lifted up and not pressed down, because then that can only happen once a frame. Okay, so the way you actually do it is you actually go inside of this event loop, which is the first time we've done that. Okay, and you write if. And what the event loop does is it checks once per frame if some event has happened. The only one we have right now is the event type. Basically, it's checking if you press this little X here. I'll show you. It's checking if you press this X. Okay? And when you press it, it closes your window. If I get rid of my window close, it won't close my window, and my game will be stuck open. Oh, I'm missing a bracket here. I've done something I shouldn't have here. Hold on. Mr. Event Loop. I don't need that bracket. I wonder what it doesn't like here. That goes to there. Let's comment that out. See if I still get an error. That's fine. Look, it doesn't let me close it. Okay. And you can actually pause your game by causing an event to happen. Like me dragging the window pauses my game because my project is now stuck in this loop. So you don't want a ton of code in this loop. It's going to mess your game up real bad. You just want to check for events. So one of the events is You write the same code like this. You write event, : same like you did with the closed one there. I'm going to look for keyboard release. Key release right there. To find out, to pick a key to get released, you do and event.key.code equals, and then you pick your keyboard key. A little bit awkward. It took me a long time to figure that out actually when I first learned SFML. There's not a lot of that online. Okay, so do I want to put all this code in here? Actually, no. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a Boolean keyboard variable. Bool is space up. Something like that, you know. Make it equal false. Okay. Yep, that's good. At the beginning of every loop, make it false too. That way, at the beginning of every frame, it doesn't see that it's been released. And if it ever does get released, make it true. Is space up equals true. So now you have a little Boolean flag that turns off and on when the keyboard is, when the space bar has been pressed up. Okay? So instead of doing is key pressed here, you do is space up equal to true. And now it could only ever resize your thing once a frame, so it won't notice any, there you go. So press it again. See how it kind of shoves it over? And it has to do with the fact that Box2D measures something from its center and SFML measures something from the left and right. So it always kind of pushes it over half the width. There's probably a better way to fix that. Maybe I'll let you guys figure that out today if you want. You don't have to either. That's a cool little power up that you can include in your project. Now, I just added it to my space bar, but you could have one of these bricks fall down and you could tell if it hit something. Keep in mind static bodies. No, there's lots of ways to do it. I'll work on that this week. That's a cool place to stop. Coding for now. See if you can add something cool in your project. There's other cool power-ups you can add too. If you go to the Google Classroom and look at the assignment, classwork, brick breaker, view assignment. Create a brick breaker game using structures in a separate file. Check. The game must include a unique design, power-ups, paddle mechanics. So we're well on our way there. Okay? If you have any questions, let me know. Work on that today. I'll be online throughout the day. I got Peter with me, so my son. So usually we take lots of breaks for snacks and recess and all that kind of stuff. But I will be online here and there, so I'll leave my camera on. I'll just stop presenting. Actually, I'll keep my presenting up for now. And I'm going to post a video of some old assignment 2s, so keep working on that. There's no rush to hand those in as long as they're handed in before, you know, before Monday the 28th, that'll be fine. And who texted me there? Hold on. Too many windows open. Can you show us the paddle code? Yep. Update size. That's all I added, I think, right? Okay, so yep, keep working on assignment 2. I'll post some cool examples for you from the past. And keep working on your brick breaker. Think about adding something cool today. Maybe an animation to your ball, something simple like that. Okay? Fix Fix the update size so that it updates it from the center as opposed to like shoving it over and then updating it. Okay. Just mess around with it. Be adventurous. Okay? Have fun with it. And that's all I have to say for now.